LeBron have a deficiency?
Yes.
You know how I feel. I'll respond.
Look, I agree with everything that you said. I feel like if you took somebody like Bob Cousy or some of the players that you named and you put them in today's game and taught them and told them, hey, this is the way that the game is played, they would still be at the level that they were all-time level. So I think it's just timing and what you learn at that time or the way the game is played. So I agree with you. But I do think that the GOAT conversation, as much as I hear you saying is disrespectful, I think it's a necessary conversation because when you do separate guys like Michael Jordan, Kareem, LeBron, Kobe from the pack, it ultimately is a sign of respect.
Okay, what you consider the GOAT?
Who?
I said, what do you consider as the GOAT?
Oh, to me, I'm very straightforward with my guidelines. So to me, LeBron hits all of the stats. If you are statistically doing it for this long of a time, I think that it's unfair to be like a dude that did it for a shorter amount of time just because he didn't lose in the finals is better. I can't agree with that.
Well, I just think, he stayed healthier than everybody, like played longer than everybody. So he was able to accumulate those numbers. If guys would have stayed longer, they might have accumulated those numbers as well. Some guys that took a little time off and then came back and played. But my thing is, do LeBron have a deficiency?
Yes.
And what is that?
I would say it's more than one thing. I would say
there's more than okay. I'm gonna just leave it at that. There's more than one thing. What is MJ's deficiency?
I would say that MJ's deficiency, and nobody ever wants to talk about it. We torched Kobe for his selfish plays because we watched it firsthand all at the same time, and there was social media. So we could say, yo, he shot over 5 people and there's a dude in the corner. We don't say that for Michael Jordan because we don't see all of the game footage right away. But that's a deficiency to me, that he won't make the right play at certain times.
But that's not a deficiency. That's not a skill set. That's not a skill set. That's just a decision, a choice that he made because he feel like he can accomplish on 5 or 3 guys that's playing if he can still be successful. What I'm saying is
that's a fair point.
LeBron can't shoot free throws. Well, I don't say. Let me take it. I'm not saying that he can't shoot free throws. He's not a great free throw shooter. I love LeBron. I mean, I really love LeBron James. I love what LeBron stands for. I love what LeBron has done with his basketball career. How he's able to came in as day one and still has kept that status all the way through to his 21 years or how many years he's played without any blemish on his record. I love it. And what he has done in the community and uplift his people that are around him, that is beyond remarkable. But when it comes to the game of basketball and the skill set of the game of basketball, that's where it separates from a guy like MJ and a guy like LeBron in terms of the skill set. Michael had no deficiency fundamentally. He was one of the most fundamentally sound guys that ever played the game. And athletic-wise, I mean, hey, that's in the class of his own. So that's why when I say about guys, and MJ always hasn't been that way. When he was in college, he couldn't even go left. It was hard for him to go left. But he worked on that aspect of his game to the point to where that has not become a deficiency anymore. So that's what I talk about when I say skill set, when I talk about the game and, how one consider himself as the top of it. I look at the skill set and what they can do overall. That's where I come in.
You heard it from the Mugsy Bogues show. You heard it from the Mugsy Bogues show.
He broke it down good. Nah, dog, he broke it down. He broke it down.
Mugs, 2 more things from me. Blocking the shot of the great Patrick Ewing. Talk about that.
I told Big Pat, as soon as I did it, and as I came back, I told him he was going to be part of my highlight film. Right? I told him he was going to be part. Pat, you always want to do that little fadeaway. and I just happened to be right there when he tried to do it. And it didn't take much to get it. But when I got it, I mean, he was so surprised, being at the right place at the right time.
That sounds good, but he watches every show. So send him a message right now about that.
And you know what?
Talk to Pat.
And I saw the show when he was on with you guys. I saw the big fella. Big fella, ain't nothing but love. Ain't nothing but love. I had a 44-inch vertical back then.
I'm watching a lot of videos where, there's always this debate about who's the greatest. And they always say it's always between MJ and LeBron. But they always say it's what you just said, like, Kobe was, I feel like, the extension of Michael Jordan. And this is nothing against LeBron. LeBron is one of the greatest to ever do it, of course. But I just feel like the way Kobe plays, his drive, his killer energy, I think is very similar to how Michael Jordan was when he played.
Absolutely. And nothing to take away from LeBron. LeBron is, had a long career, and he has, put himself in the position to be. He is the all-time greatest scorer. You can't take anything away from him. He's impacted the game more ways than you can ever imagine. But we just talking between the lines. Just between the lines, not the impact, just between the lines, just the skill set of a basketball player. There was no other than MJ. There was no other than MJ. And Kobe was the second coming of that. And him being able to, be that 2.0 version of MJ and being able to, have that mindset that MJ had, a killer instinct. That's what kind of separated him from a lot of guys. But LeBron is definitely one of the greatest players that ever played this game, longevity wise as well, statistic wise as well. But again, skill set, I always give it to MJ.
And championships too.
Well, yeah, championships, but that's all accolades. But I'm just talking about as a basketball player, between the lines, who you will be afraid to face up against. And we all know MJ is coming at you as a killer. I mean, LeBron, he scored a different way how he attacked, but it's nothing the way MJ played.
Thought that Michael called me a midget. Well, the trash talk in the league, it wasn't much for me anyway. You had a lot of guards that talk trash, like the Gary Paytons and those guys, and the Reggie Millers and the Michael Jordans and those guys talk a lot of trash. But it was mainly against the guys that they played against. And the Tim Hardaways at times. But for me, it wasn't much trash talking. They didn't come at me. We had one series where you got now or since we got internet, folks are asking me about a trash talker when we played against the Bulls in the series, and they thought that Michael called me a midget, saying that, you little midget. But, those type of things, they don't affect you. It's just the game that we playing and that, those type of those things that come out, we may call them a black cat, so little things like that, that's part of the game. Those things never really affect you, because, words affect you at this stage in your life. Back then, I mean, imagine what you went through as a kid. So, no, that's just part of the game. You go out there, some people elevate their game that way in terms of being trash talk.
All right, for those of you who were born after the year 2000, you might not have seen Mugsy Bogues play in the NBA. Mugsy Bogues was a 5'3" point guard. 5'3", the shortest guy to ever play in the NBA. So, with him being that short, you can imagine he had to have the biggest heart, or at least one of the biggest hearts in NBA history, because he was playing against giants. Okay, guys who could push him around, bully him, do whatever. But because he was so filled with heart, because he was so tough, he was able to stand amongst giants and have a good career. Just like those who are 6 foot and older, which would be what you would think would be the lowest height that you need to play in the NBA. All right, so here we have this guy, and he's given the commentary about Michael Jordan because he played in the league when MJ was playing. He played directly up against MJ. He saw the wonders. He saw how good MJ was. Right? And now as a fan, he sees LeBron. He sees Kobe. Okay, and he has to give the props straight up to MJ as the greatest, because he has no choice. Right? He saw firsthand MJ could do. Right? He saw how talented he was. And most importantly, he saw how much heart MJ had. All right, and before you just laugh this off and say, okay, if LeBron was playing him, being 6'8", 250 pounds, he would just dominate him. Remember, always remember that in the 2011 finals, okay, LeBron was shut down by somebody who I believe was 5'8". Okay, it's not to hate; it's just to provide perspective, all right, on this situation here. That at the end of the day, this has nothing to do with height, but has more to do with heart. So that's why somebody this small in stature, right, could let you know who the GOAT is, because he had to have that much heart, in order to stay in the NBA for many, many years and play on a contending team and be a starter. Okay, so due to that fact, he's able to show you, because he has that inside of him, he's able to show you who has the most of that inside of him, and that is Michael Jeffrey Jordan. Okay, so if we get a commentary like this from somebody of that nature, of that type of character, we have to trust it. All right, so it's just another guy that I'm showing you guys from the 90s who is telling you that Jordan is the GOAT over LeBron. So that's about it. So until next time.